Welcome, ladies, to Spotlight Voices. My name is Natalia Nicholson, and I'm the founder of Women in Digital Business. And right now, daily, I have been coming with you to the absolutely amazing speakers at the top 100 most powerful Black women summit. We've done it, we're here again. And without further ado, we have with us today the amazing Fiora. Fiora, please do introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know who you are and what you do, and just a little bit about your story.
Sure, sure. So greetings, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're located in the world. My name is Dr. Theoria Kaysen, and I am incredibly excited to have the opportunity to introduce myself to you, to interact with you. The first thing I'd like to share with you is that I am a believer, a follower of Christ, that comprehensively informs the myriad of ways that I interact with human beings around the world and has helped to shape my personal philosophy of trying to infuse peace into my piece of the world. That's my attempt to infuse peace, PEACE, into my piece, PIECE, of the world. And I try to role model the type of behavior that encourages others to do the same. We can get into a little bit more later on.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love that, by the way. I think protecting your peace has become really important in today's day and age, because there's just so much noise and there's so much distractions out there. And I think as Black female entrepreneurs, we've just gotten used to putting up and shutting up and not really being able to protect that peace. And peace comes from a real spiritual place. And I think
Absolutely.
that's sometimes what we really forget in this world. We're not really connected to higher being or our spirituality as much as we would like. And for some of us as women, it can be a struggle with that battle of, getting inner peace and just getting to a place where, as Mary J. Blige might say, I'm fine. Like
Yeah.
I can look in the mirror, I like me and I'm fine. And sometimes it takes work to get to that place. So Fiora, I just would love to know, and I think our audience would too,
Mhm.
like what brought you on this path to
Mhm.
be able to help others in the way that you do? Like what was it? What happened? Was there a particular moment in life that brought you
Mhm.
to where you are now?
I wouldn't necessarily say that there was a particular moment in time, not a finite data point. But one of the things that I noticed about myself, which is probably relatable to most of your audience, is that it's really easy to find energy and motivation to advocate for others. If you notice and have the capacity to identify injustice or a lack of fairness, or something that's just not right. And so that was role model for me, for my mother. So she was the mama bear that advocated for me in so many ways that I had to learn to muster up the energy and the effort to do it for myself once I navigated into full-time adulting, which can be real raggedy sometimes. And so what happened for me is in the earlier part of my career, by nature of the work that I did, it was designed for me to serve others, to support students, because I've spent the first 10 years of my career working in higher education. But at some point, I realized that the organization that I was working for had found an incredible amount of appreciation for all that I was willing to do within the organization, but they did not value it. And appreciation and value are different, they show up in different ways. And so then I learned to advocate for myself and to speak up and to operate with a sense of fervency and agency. And by doing that, I began to experience an incredible amount of resistance. And so that's when I made a finite commitment to protect my peace with all vigilance, because oppression is not my portion. And over delivering within the relationship in terms of the relationship between myself and my employer or my relationship with any organization, in the
Mm.
absence of reciprocity for the value that I add was not something I was willing to accept any longer. And so once I got into that mindset, I also had to learn to be courageous enough to articulate my boundaries and hold steadfast to them, because peace is not something that just happens. You mentioned earlier, there are a myriad of ways where our attention can be pulled in a variety of directions. And so if you don't intentionally and with fervency make a decision to protect your peace, you won't have it.
Yeah. That's really, really powerful. Even now, us speaking and us recording this, you're making me check myself, if I was to be really honest with you. You're making me feel like actually I don't give the peace within me much respect.
Hmm.
I'm so worried about other people's peace or keeping the peace that I'm not actually setting boundaries and putting my peace first.
Hmm.
And that's what you've actually made me realize about myself. I don't know anybody else that is watching this or listening to this feels the same. Please do put it into the comments. It's good when we're feeling a particular way that we do communicate. So some of us don't feel alien or feel like we're out here by ourselves. But everything that you just said was really powerful. And you're making me check myself and me even think about what does my peace look like. Because actually, if I was to be honest with you, I don't think I know what it looks like. I think I need to go away and think about that. With that said, are there any advice you can offer without giving too much away? Because we know the
Sure,
masterclass is coming up.
sure.
Maybe just one hack in terms of maybe trying to discover like what your piece looks like, or maybe even just tell us how you work with people. That would be amazing.
I'll answer the first part of the question in terms of what peace looks like because I think very recently, in the past couple of years, I've spent a lot of time cutting back relationships and really reflecting on them to assess whether or not there was reciprocity in those relationships comprehensively, and then asking to what degree am I responsible for um, the portions of imbalance that I was able to illuminate through the process of pause and reflection, because sometimes we have to take ownership of like what it is that we have done to create cycles and patterns of behavior where we groom people into teaching them how we are willing to be treated, how we want to be treated, etc. And so in the process of that reflection, one of the things I came to realize is that I could name the things that bring me peace. I could name the things that bring me joy, but I wasn't intentionally making space for them. I was looking for other people in my community to figure it out or to step up or to like fill in those gaps. And so I took some time personally to say, this is what it is that I need. And so because I am an educator by training, as I mentioned, I'm a doctor. I took the time to just reflect on my training as an educator to learn to qualify a claim. So if I say that I love myself, there should be evidence to support that claim. So I had to be real honest with
Mm.
myself about what actions can I point to say, Theoria, what are you doing to demonstrate to yourself that you love yourself? What are you doing to demonstrate that you value this piece that you say is a part of your motto? And when I realized that I was not honoring myself and my own commitments, and there was misalignment, I had to take one look at myself in the mirror and say, oh, it's not them, it is you.
Mm.
It's you. You are the common denominator in all of your stories and the nature of your relationships with all of these people. So what can you do,
That's
Theory?
a tough thing to do. I'm
Yeah.
laughing because I've done it. Because you're right, you start to reflect, and if you can really be honest with yourself, and not all of us can be, does that make sense? Because I
Mhm.
think sometimes we've got what I call a resistance to change. We've got your current reality,
Absolutely.
and you've got a reality that's in your head, and quite often the two don't match up. It's
Exactly.
a bit like when I walk past and I see my reflection. In my mind, I'm like, I don't look like that.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
that's not what's in my mind. So when
Yeah.
you've got the ability to be able to check yourself, that's when you know you're going in the right direction. Anything that's uncomfortable for me, I always think is a good thing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
means you're
So
stretching yourself out your comfort zone.
exactly. And so I think that's one thing that I would really like to leave with our audience is that stretching yourself beyond your comfort zone is part of the journey towards peace, is part of the journey towards clarity and confidence, and it will allow you to show up more authentically as a leader. So you don't have to perform the roles of being fine or perform the roles of having it together, but that means that you have to be willing to go through the growing pains of change.
Yeah.
um, you- the growing pains of change. So in order to grow, to get to that place of having access and a strategy to know how to protect your peace, because peace is not a, oh, I got peace, I've reached, a set of, enlightenment, full stop. The reason I say I protect my peace with all vigilance is because there's always something that will pose a threat if I
Mm.
allow it. And so it's about cultivating the tools, the self-awareness and the tools to mitigate when things come together that pose a threat to your clarity, that pose a threat to your confidence, that subsequently take away from your sense of peace, that take away from your sense of love. So accepting the reality that it's an ongoing practice is one thing that I'm
Oh,
learning.
it's just such powerful stuff. It's almost like I'm coming to your masterclass. Is I'm at this summit, but I feel genuinely like I've got so much to learn, and so much to figure out. Because actually, when you're at peace, that's when you get the best out of yourself, and that's when you actually really start to enjoy life. I think up until that point, it can feel like a lot of anxiety and just
Mhm.
constantly writing a list of things to do to get to where you want to be and never feeling satisfied for where you're at. And sometimes as well, that can just cause you to make bad decisions because it's almost like you're chasing for this place that you need to get to, which is the actual peace. What you're not
Mhm.
realizing along your journey is that you're just creating the complete opposite to what peace is. You've just got all this noise in your head thinking you're going to get to this peaceful place, and you're not really thinking, how do I get there? What does that look like? It's all really, really, really powerful. So for those of you that want to learn more about understanding, your peace, setting boundaries, having a strategy, getting guidance, just tapping into more of your spiritual self. Maybe some of you are even feeling like you're stuck. I know for me, I definitely felt like for a long period where I was just stuck and I needed to get more happy and comfortable with being me. So today you've kind of brought back a lot of memories of work that I've done that actually I can say I'm proud of, but you've also pointed out that work is ongoing. And there's still a few things that you brought up that I can't quite answer as I sit here today. But for the ladies listening, what can they look forward to learning from you in the masterclass coming up at the summit?
Yes. So one of the first things they will learn from me is a strategy. So at this point, I mentioned in the past couple of years, I've been in this phase of like deep self-reflection, and so I'm at a point now where I can provide in hindsight some very strategic steps that I would recommend people take in order to start this journey towards transformation. So there's a methodology that I would recommend, and so one of the things that I would like to share with the audience are those steps and those tools.